We've made it to the final week of the 2021 college football regular season, and as we head into rivalry week, I'll be giving you guys my updated college football bowl projections. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into it with our Week 13 bowl projections, starting out with our general bowl games. Cure Bowl, we got Old Dominion and Ball State. Bahamas Bowl, Miami, Ohio, and Florida Atlantic. Boca Raton Bowl, Western Kentucky, Central Michigan. New Mexico Bowl, Wyoming and UTEP. Independence Bowl, BYU and UTSA. New Orleans Bowl, we got Marshall and App State. Lending Tree Bowl, Troy and Liberty. LA Bowl, we got San Diego State and Washington State. That's your first Power 5 team right there in Washington State. That game, honestly, I'm pretty sure San Diego State's going to be in there, but it could be either Washington State or Oregon State from the Pac-12 in that game. Myrtle Beach Bowl, we got Coastal Carolina and East Carolina. Frisco Bowl, Louisiana and Nevada. Idaho Potato Bowl, Eastern Michigan and Boise State. And Armed Forces Bowl, Air Force and Memphis. Moving on, Gasparilla Bowl, we got Tulsa and Florida State. Seminoles get in there depending on how their game goes this weekend against Florida. If Seminoles do win that game against Florida, which I'm projecting that they do so right now, they will get into the Gasparilla Bowl against Tulsa. Hawaii Bowl, we got Utah State and UCF. Camellia Bowl, Western Michigan, San Jose State. Quick Lane Bowl, Georgia State and Kent State. Military Bowl, we got Boston College and Houston. Birmingham Bowl, we got UAB and Missouri. Missouri's the last team in out of the SEC, so certainly that would be an interesting game there between UAB. I mean, UAB almost beat UTSA this past weekend, which UTSA is a pretty good football team, so that would be a fun game there. First Responder Bowl, we got Army and Toledo. Liberty Bowl, we got Texas Tech and South Carolina. That would be a fun game there as well. I mean, you got two football teams that weren't expected to be very good in this 2021 season going head-to-head. That'd be a fun one in the Liberty Bowl. Guaranteed Rate Bowl, we got Maryland, last team in out of the Big Ten. That game could be either Maryland against West Virginia or Rutgers against West Virginia, depending on who wins in that matchup this weekend. I've currently got the Terrapins beating Rutgers, and then West Virginia I think is a pretty safe bet for the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. With the Holiday Bowl, I got Miami and Arizona State. Sun Devils, I am pretty confident that Arizona State gets into that game, but the ACC team is going to be a tough one to predict. There are like 4 different teams that could get into the Holiday Bowl. I mean, there are like 5 or 6 teams in the ACC that are really tough to predict, because we got several teams in the ACC who have just gotten to that 6th win threshold. So yeah, it's going to be tough to predict there. But Cheez-It Bowl, I got North Carolina and Iowa State. Fenway Bowl is going to be Louisville and SMU. Moving on, we got Pinstripe Bowl, Clemson and Minnesota. Minnesota, I'm putting them in the Pinstripe Bowl right now, but that game could end up having Purdue in there as well. I could see Purdue making the Pinstripe Bowl as well. Alamo Bowl, we got Oklahoma and Utah. I've got the Sooners as the number 3 team in the Big 12. I've got the Cowboys winning this weekend, kicking out Oklahoma of the Big 12 title games. We'll see Oklahoma State and Baylor in New Year's 6 bowl games, and I've currently got the Cowboys in the college football playoff. We'll get into more about that in a little bit. But then we got Purdue and Tennessee in the Music City Bowl. We got Duke's Mayo Bowl, Wake Forest and Arkansas. Las Vegas Bowl, Penn State and UCLA. Gator Bowl is going to be NC State and Mississippi State. Sun Bowl, we got Virginia and Oregon State. Arizona Bowl, Northern Illinois and Fresno State. Then lastly, Texas Bowl, going to be Kansas State and Auburn. Kansas State, they're having a good season. They should finish out the year at 8-4. Overall, solid record, and I think they'd match up well against the Auburn Tigers. Well, let's move on to some bigger bowl games now. We got Citrus Bowl and Outback Bowl. Then it's on to the New Year's 6. Citrus Bowl is going to be Iowa and Kentucky. Iowa potentially could get into this game, or could. There's the Big Ten is also a tough conference to predict right now because a multitude of different things can happen depending on who wins this weekend between Ohio State and Michigan. And of course, you got Michigan State. They're playing Penn State this weekend, and if Michigan State loses against Penn State, we would probably see Michigan State in either the Citrus or Outback Bowl, and that would decrease a spot from the Big Ten in a New Year's 6 bowl game. But as of right now, we'll see what happens. But yeah, Iowa and Kentucky, I've got them in the Citrus Bowl. Onto the Outback Bowl, we got Wisconsin and Texas A&M. Wisconsin, watch out. They're playing pretty well right now, and overall, I'd say Wisconsin is one of the best teams in the Big Ten. They might not have the best record, but they are playing excellent. They're playing the best ball of the season, and I think they finished out the season strong. And they got Texas A&M, the Aggies. That would be a fun game there for sure. Let's move on to the New Year's 6 bowl games. We got Peach Bowl, Notre Dame, and Pittsburgh. This is a tough one to predict here, but Notre Dame, they're going to be on a New Year's 6 bowl game, especially if they win their last game, as I expect them to. this weekend. So Notre Dame, I've got them in the Peach Bowl against Pittsburgh, your ACC champion. I've got Pitt currently winning the ACC, but that could be NC State or Wake Forest. We'll see what happens in the Peach Bowl. But right now, I do believe Pitt is the most reasonable team to predict to win the ACC right now. In the Fiesta Bowl, I got Michigan State and Ole Miss. This would definitely be a fun one here between Sparty and Ole Miss. Spartans lost last weekend to Ohio State. That was a terrible loss, but I think they'd match up well against the Ole Miss Rebels. So that would be a fun one there. Sugar Bowl, we got Alabama and Baylor. Kind of a unique matchup here, but I do think it's very capable and very reasonable to believe that this could happen. I think Alabama in the Sugar Bowl is definitely, if they're out of the college football playoff, I think Sugar Bowl is probably the most reasonable bet for Alabama, which currently I am keeping them out. I do assume that they are going to lose the SEC championship game, and then a two-loss Alabama team. A two-loss Alabama team could potentially get into the playoff. The committee may think differently, but as of right now, I'm going to keep them out and put them in the Sugar Bowl against Baylor, the number 2 team in the Big 12. Rose Bowl, we got Oregon and Michigan. Oregon lost last weekend to Utah, but I do think the Ducks do beat Utah in the rematch in the Pac-12 title game. Sounds kind of crazy, but I just think, it's, especially in college football, it's much tougher playing a team the second time in a season, and for Utah trying to win that game twice in a row, it would be tough for the Utes, and I think that Oregon is going to learn from their mistakes, and they'll rise to the occasion and get the win. Then we got Michigan. Michigan is going to make the Rose Bowl. Potentially you could see the Big Ten West champion, Wisconsin. I do believe it'll be Wisconsin right now, but we'll see. But as of right now, I'm going to put Michigan, one of the top tier teams in the Big Ten, in the Rose Bowl. On to the Cotton Bowl, one of the college football playoff semifinal games. We got Ohio State and Oklahoma State. Buckeyes pretty confident that we see Ohio State in the college football playoff. I've currently got them winning the Big Ten and winning out. Ohio State is playing like as good as any team in the nation right now, so it's pretty reasonable to put them at number 2. In Oklahoma State, I've got them beating Oklahoma this weekend and beating Baylor in the Big 12 title game. So I do have the Cowboys at number 3. Potentially Oklahoma State could be number 4, and Cincinnati could be, we'll see about Cincinnati. Potentially we could see Oklahoma State and Alabama in the top 4, and Cincinnati is completely left out. You never know. The committee just does not like Group of 5 teams anywhere near as much as Power 5 and SEC teams. So we'll see what happens. But right now, I've got Ohio State and Oklahoma State. This would be a fun game if it were to happen. And lastly, the Orange Bowl. We got Georgia at number 1. Probably the easiest pick on the slate is putting Georgia at number 1. I can't see that team losing at all in the next couple of games for them. But they're going to play Cincinnati. The Bearcats, if they win out, they should be in the top 4. And it would be, I've got a feeling that the committee would leave out Cincinnati for a 2-loss Alabama team, and that would suck for the Bearcats. That would be very unfortunate for Cincinnati if that were to happen, but it is very reasonable. But at the same time, personally, I think Cincinnati should get into the top 4 if they win out and Alabama loses in the SEC title game. So I'm going to put Bearcats at number 4 against Georgia, a rematch of their bowl game from last season. But that being said, that wraps it up for today for my Week 13 bowl projections. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I appreciate you guys all watching. As always, stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you guys later.